Hey everyone, this is a clip from a recent episode of Another Pass, where we talk about movies and all the struggles that go into making them. If you like it, check out the whole podcast. You can find it at certainpov.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
This movie I saw actually for the first time during the pandemic when it came on HBO Max. So this was like a year ago, maybe 2 years ago at this point. But again, I knew a lot about it. Like if you'd asked me, I was like, oh yeah, well, Nicole Kidman and Sandra Bullock, and they're witches and they have a family of witches. The trailer told me enough for the big ticket items of it all. But I had never seen it, and I just remember that people said it wasn't particularly good, and my wife was like, no, it's great, we should watch it. And I was like, yeah, cool. I enjoyed it a lot. It's a fun, cute movie with very charming characters, and it makes you really want to make margaritas. Yes. Fantastic stuff going on there. And rewatching it, I still share most of those opinions with the basic overarching thing of being like, man, the plot I think is very dumb. But I'm assuming, since both of you know this movie way better, that you saw this at a much earlier age, and I'm kind of curious about your experiences with this movie.
Oh gosh. See, I don't remember when I actually saw it because it is such an overarching movie, and I missed a lot of 90s pop culture because my parents were hippies and we didn't watch a lot of that stuff. But at some point I had known enough about it and I sat down and watched it and I liked it. There's a lot of things in it that I think are really corny. I have a personal connection to this series because it's actually a full series of books now. I don't know if anyone's familiar with the books, but at the time it was one book and had recently been written. And it's a lot more about sister relationships than it is about magic and curses. That's sort of an underlying setting for these stories about generational trauma, as opposed to demonic ex-boyfriends possessing you. And then literally more than 20 years later, Alice Hoffman, the author, revisited the series, and she wrote a prequel series about the aunts, who are played by Diane Wiest and Stockard Channing in the movie, and about the two sisters and their brother in 1960s to 70s New York, called The Rules of Magic, which allegedly is going to be an HBO show. We haven't heard anything since 2019. And then she wrote another prequel about Maria Owens, who started the curse, and then a sequel to tie it all off, which came out a year or two ago. So I read the book long after the movie. It's very different. I posted about reading the book, and Alice commented on my Instagram story and was like, there's a prequel coming out, or on my Instagram post. I was like, there's a prequel coming out. And I was like, oh my God, Alice Hoffman, hello. She's amazing. I've met her a couple times. But the prequel book is actually the one I love most, the one about the aunts. I identify so strongly with that book. Franny, who's played by Stockard Channing in the movie, is so much me that a friend was once have you read this book? Because you're in it.
Remember, if you like that clip, check out the podcast. You can find it at certainpov.com or wherever you get your podcasts.